Hi, my name is Darswell Rogers, and I am an X-Scale Business Agility Coach. Welcome to this introductory video on leadership as a service. It is a practice pattern relating to the A in X-Scale. The A relates to the need for autonomous teams to be aligned around common objectives. With leadership as a service, we are specifically making a differentiation between leadership and management. When a team has clarity as to their objective, the need for managing is greatly diminished. However, the need for effective leadership remains and, in fact, may be more critical. Leadership's focus should be to serve the needs of the team in the successful completion of the assignment. While there have been decades of case study examples demonstrating the benefits of empowering workers, decentralizing decision making, and leading versus managing teams, the foundational culture within the majority of organizations, large and small, is for decision making to be concentrated with a small group at the top. In this short video, we will explore 3 examples of autonomous leadership. The first example goes back to the oldest known participatory government in history. That dates back to the year 1142 in North America. It is the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, more popularly known as the Iroquois Indians. The Confederacy represents 6 Native American tribes that during the colonial period occupied much of the territory that now represents upstate New York into Pennsylvania. During this period, they were active traders with the Europeans who immigrated to New England, Pennsylvania, and Canada. The word Haudenosaunee means people of the Longhouse. The Longhouse is the foundation of their form of governance. Imagine a long building with a capacity of housing about 50 people. A grouping of longhouses represented a village. A grouping of villages represented a tribe, and the 6 tribes represented the Confederacy. The members of each longhouse established rules of governance for the longhouse. Leaders from the longhouse met to establish the governance of the village. Similarly, the tribe The members of each longhouse established rules of governance for the longhouse. Leaders from the longhouse met to establish the governance of the village. The desires of the village could not override Members of each longhouse established the rules of governance for the longhouse. Leaders from the longhouse met to establish the governance of the village. The desires of the village could not override the wishes of the longhouse. Similarly, the tribe could not override the village, nor the Confederacy override the tribe. This created a need for dynamic, participatory interactions resulting in consensus. Each consensus was then memorialized in a treaty that governed operations at each level. While the Native American population is significantly smaller today, they continue to use the foundations of decentralized governance. The Iroquois' approach to decentralized decision-making was studied by the colonists. Benjamin Franklin wrote that about the Iroquois that there is no force, there are no prisons, no officers to compel obedience or inflict punishment. Also of note, in 1988, the United States Senate paid tribute to the Iroquois with a resolution that said, the confederation of the original 13 colonies into one republic was influenced by the political system developed by the Iroquois Confederacy, as were many of the democratic principles which were incorporated into the Constitution itself. We're now going to move to our second example of leadership as a service, and we're moving to the 21st century and to the War on Terror. Here's the situation. The U.S. and its allies are losing the war against the decentralized terror network of Al-Qaeda that had the capacity to move quickly, strike ruthlessly, and virtually vanish into the local population. Four-star General Stanley McChrystal was appointed head of the Joint Strategic Operations Command, or JSOC, to lead the war on terror. McChrystal wrote in a book, Team of Teams, where he describes how he evolved the organization to respond to the demands presented on the battlefield. This is what JSOC looked like when McChrystal took over. It was a traditional hierarchy with a need-to-know mindset as it related to sharing information. His ultimate solution, driven by the need to win, was to create a decentralized organization in terms of decision-making. He also shifted to actively and dynamically sharing information across all areas of the national security apparatus, meaning all areas of the military, the CIA, FBI, Homeland Security, and State Department. While decision-making and information was decentralized, McChrystal was still ultimately responsible for outcomes. He created a shared consciousness with a clarity of objective and trust. This ultimately suppressed the terror network. Finally, I want to discuss Apple under Steve Jobs. When Apple went through a period of unprecedented innovation and growth. Jobs once said, management is about persuading people to do things that they do not want to do, while leadership is about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could. He developed an organization that he describes as having no committees. The organization had directly responsible individuals, or DRIs, focused on the delivery of specific solutions that met the needs of the customer. There was active and dynamic interaction, and most importantly, trust among the teams that they could deliver. His approach to leadership of empowering his people explains how in a short decade he went from a simple computer company to the most valuable company in the world. The introduction of iTunes, the iPod, iPhone, the App Store, and the iPad revolutionized the world. So as you proceed, having heard these three examples with this program on Leadership as a Service, I hope that you will realize and discover that there are many approaches to leveraging these concepts within your organizations. Enjoy the remainder of the program.